I'm back with a Baltic. Baltics. The two newest watches from the small French brand. The last watch I covered from Baltic was the tasteful MR01 dress watch with its handsome dial and rare, affordable micro rotor movement. Before that was the sporty and also affordable Tricompax, good-looking machines, and like everything else Baltic has done so far, very inspired by aesthetics of the mid-1900s, just like my sense of humor. These are two of the new 6 watches. There's the time-only HMS 003 and the Chronograph Bicompax 003. And like every other Baltic watch I've seen, these look better in person than any $500 watch should. The 003 watches, I'll call them that. The 003 watches are added to the catalog alongside the 002 watches that came out a while ago. The 003 and the 002 are similar, mid-century designs with sector dials, leaf hands, and even the movements are the same in the chronographs and the same in the time-only watches. The biggest difference, for the most part, is the size. Baltic has taken both the time-only and the chronograph watches down from 38mm to 36.5mm for these new 003 watches. For the normies out there, the non-watch folk, you might think, 1.5mm? That's interesting? That's something to care about? To which I might answer, no, it is not. And you should just move on with your life and never come back to this cursed place. But for watch collectors, 38mm versus 36.5 can make a big difference in wearability, visual style, historical accuracy, or at least we tend to think so, and that's all that matters to us right now, in a vacuum. Anyway, both watches have the same dimensions, which is probably because the time-only watch is automatic and the chronograph is manual. Usually, chronographs are thicker. Both watches are 36.5mm across, 46mm long, and 13mm thick, if you include the big old Hesalite crystal. Just the case is 10mm thick. Both watches have 20mm lugs, 20mm drilled lugs, which is great, and both watches have 50 meters of water resistance. There are a bunch of variations of each watch. There are 3 dials for each, several leather strap options, a couple bracelet options, and even a case back option. For €25 you can get a display back, which I would, and I might also opt for the beads of rice bracelet for a few more ducats. The most affordable version of the HMS 003 is €360, and the most affordable configuration of the Bicompax is €540. In greenbacks, that's about $395 and $590, depending on the exchange rate and whether or not Mercury is in retrograde, maybe. Inside the HMS 003 is the Miyota 8315. It hacks, it hand winds, it has 60 hours of power reserve, and it's automatic. I don't have any complaints about this movement in a $400 watch. Nor do I have complaints about the Seagull ST1901 in the Bicompax. These aren't fancy movements, but they'll do the job, and honestly for the price, they look kinda good. Which is one reason I'd go for the display back. Especially the chronograph. This is a watch that you show your friends. Nope, wait, no friends. This is a watch you show your coworkers and they get interested when they see the movement. Or at least they're being polite, which I'll take. The dials are even better looking. Both dials have radial brushing along the outer ring, and that's where the applied numerals and markers are. And both have textured sections in the middle, which differentiates from the outer ring in a really nice way without using a different color or being really too heavy-handed. Both subdials of the chronograph have nice guilloche, a concentric guilloche texture, which is just cool to see on a watch at this price. Blue dial furniture, they really tie the room together. They really tie the watch together. And on the wrist, my wrist is 7 inches around, which is the same size as the vinyl single for the Belgian techno anthem Pump Up the Jam. Stop it, we're not stealing bits from a TV show. 36.5mm across and 46mm long. That's a pretty good size for my wrist and for watches like this. Vintage styled and dressy-ish. A modern dive watch at this size, probably not for me, but I think these work. I have not tried on the 38mm 002 watches from Baltic, and I'd be curious to compare these 003 watches to the 002. And one thing Baltic is doing to help answer questions like these is setting up showrooms where people can go and try on its watches. They're only in Paris and London right now, but I don't remember seeing a small, affordable brand doing anything like this before. But in the US, you might be able to catch Baltic at one of the wind-up fairs in New York, Chicago, or San Francisco. I've been to one and they are the best. I've said before that watches like this, styled after a certain era, they're not really my thing. I'm not opposed to them on principle or anything like that, they don't excite me. But I get the appeal of a style like this, it's good looking. And I think this is the right price point for a watch like this. I can see and understand an affordable watch that looks like it's from a different era. A luxury watch, a $10,000 watch that looks like it's from the 1950s, for some reason that bothers me. So I really respect what Baltic is doing, and even if I know I won't be buying one of these, if I saw a stranger wearing one of these watches, they would absolutely become my new friend. Or I would try, so maybe, be careful what you wear.